So, gentlemen, can you see this MCQ screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, we'll start today. I try to zero in some of the question which is related with the cinema. And there are various sections. So, today mainly I will cover this Bollywood thing. Normally, they do not ask question which Bollywood has. Bollywood means basically the masala films and all that, but there are certain sensible filmmakers, for example, Gulzar and Vishal Bhardwaj and a couple of more people also. So it's not that they will not ask question related to the Bollywood, but again, so that's it. And so I'll read it out, few questions for you. And these are the questions which I think are more relevant from the examination point of view. Some question I have just formulated. I asked someone to formulate those questions. I didn't check them, particularly connected with Nagesh Kukunur. So some of those questions I would also delete later on because they are not that important. So a lot of, not lot, but few irrelevant questions are also there from examination point of view. So who made the large puppet in the song Bismil in Vishal Bhardwaj's film called Heather? So if you have seen that film, or if you have not seen the film, but if you have seen the particular song, then you will see there are big puppets. And Dadi Padamji is a person who is a graduate from Sweden in puppetry. Few big names in the puppet is Dadi Padamji. Then earlier there used to be a lady called Mahar Contractor. She was from Ahmedabad. She's also one of the important personalities in the puppetry. And Dadi is still alive and very much active in the puppetry scenario. So this question become important, a little tricky if you don't know about the name. So Dadi Padamji is the one, and let me show you the image of, just a moment. So this is Heather, everybody knows this. And this is how the Dadi Padamji look like. So you can see, it's always good idea to recollect the face with the thing. So we'll move to the Prakash Jha. Prakash Jha has this is a very earlier work of Prakash Jha, which after Damul was the first film which is known for in the art house circuit, because this film won the national award and also it was premiered in Doordarshan. But Parinati is another film which is directed by Prakash Jha, not very popular film, not many people knows it. But it's based on a very important writer from Rajasthan called Vijay Dandetha. Vijay Dandetha we will talked about in the previously also, and today also we will mention about the Vijay Dandetha's work. So this is a one film which is based on his story. So this is how is an old poster I could find only, but she's a Surekha Sikri. Those who knows the theatre knows about her. So this is Prakash Jha. Some of the film were telefilms. So I suppose Pariniti was the telefilm which he directed for Doordarshan. If I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong, but I have just an idea because I didn't hear much about this film. So maybe it was a telefilm. Now, Doordarshan serials are not very, would be asked, though even if you are applying for a television wing, but some serials are important because they are directed by people who are sensible people in Hindi cinema, like, for example, Amol Palekar. So this is a serial which is directed by Amol Palekar. So I have included this for some strange reason, but I have included this. Mistress of Spices. You must have heard about this film, or at least know about this film, where Aishwarya Rai was the lead actress. So a poster of this film is very interesting. You can see this image of the poster. And so Biraj Bahu. Some of the films are done by well-known filmmaker, but not very popular films. Like, for example, Bimal Roy is known more for Madhumati or Devdas. Those are the films which are more popular, but this is also a important film called Biraj Bahu and directed by Bimal Roy. So it's a very old style poster. Not many people knows that Bimal Roy was a cinematographer in the beginning of his career in Calcutta when he started his career, and later on he switched to the direction and never shot his own film. His assistant to become an independent cinematographer and he used to shoot most of his work. So punchlight or punchlight, it is nothing but gas kind of a thing, which in old marriages, if you see the old marriages, usually these gas kind of lights were used, people used to carry, and there is a then later on it was moved by the tube lights and all that. So punchlight is a very famous story by Phaneshwar Nath Renu. Phaneshwar Nath Renu is one of those very established writers from Bihar, and based on his story Punchlight, recently a film was made. Recently means 4 or 5 years back, by Prem Prakash Modi. It was supported by a fund from Jharkhand. Jharkhand has this funding for supporting the films to be shot in their region and things like that. It has come out now in India and a couple of other states also, like UP also has their fund. So this is an interesting topic for you to understand which are the states which are funding the film in their state. So Jharkhand has this policy of funding the film. So Punchlight is the film which is Prakash Modi directed it, and the question is, the film Punchlight directed by so and so is based on a short story called also by the same name, Punchlight. Who is the writer? Phaneshwar Nath Renu is the writer. So this question is very important, though, because film was not very popular, but at least the writer is an established writer. So Phaneshwar Nath Renu, I'll show you the poster of this film if there is one. Yeah, this is the poster of the film. Okay, Sangharsh directed. I don't know why I have included this name, but maybe I'll just tell you why it is important. Because sometimes the writer is important. I was reading somewhere about this Mahashweta, and then I come across this thing. So she has some of his work, 1 or 2 films of his work is also converted into a feature film. So Sangharsh 1968 directed by Harnam Singh Ravel. ये हरनाम सिंह रवेल याद नहीं रहेगा आपको, इसका पॉपुलर नाम वाज एच.एस. रवेल. And H.S. Ravel's son, which is Rahul Ravel, Rahul Ravel has done many films, Bollywood films, basically 20-30 films he has directed. So H.S. Ravel was very popular in his own days, and I was surprised that it was based on a story by the Mahashweta Devi. So that's why I have included this particular thing. Let me see if there is a poster of the film. Yeah, okay, there is a poster. So you could see that there are 2 popular stars of Bollywood in this particular film. So somewhere or other, when you come across something like this, so I have included, though it may not be asked, but I thought since it is a story of Mahashweta Devi, so I should include. Okay. The screenplay of Basu Chatterjee Swami is written by. Why I have included this particular thing? Because Basu Chatterjee has, there are 2 people, don't be confused with each other, Basu Chatterjee and Basu Bhattacharya. Basu Bhattacharya was married to Rinki Bhattacharya, and one of his famous film is with Raj Kapoor and Wahida Rahman, and it was based on again by the story of Phaneshwar Nath Renu. So we'll talk about that also at some point. So this is Swami, which is basically Manu Bhandari. Basu Chatterjee has worked with Manu Bhandari on a couple of projects, and some of her short story are directed by Basu Chatterjee also. So Basu Chatterjee I included because he passed away last year or last to last year. So any film personality who passes away becomes important from the examination point of view, because since he is no more, so kind of, remembering him through questions. That's the basic idea. Otherwise, Basu Chatterjee's work is also, he was a very interesting filmmaker, which film has story based on some short story or a novel, and very family-oriented kind of films. Middle-class people were the characters, and they were also released on cinema hall, though they were not very commercially successful, but some of his films were also commercially successful. So answer is Manu Bhandari. So this is the film, and a next question I have included is based on a novel by. So here it is very clearly mentioned, Sharat Chandra. So again, the similar subject, but a different question, and the question is, Swami is based on the novel of the same name. Who is the author? So Sharat Chandra, we have just shown it to you guys. So it's the same thing, which you can, let me see if there is some different, the same image we have used it. This is how Vasu Chatterjee used to look like. Okay. So which of the following films does not have Khalid Muhammad as a screenwriter? Because some of, once you collaborate with someone, then you do a couple of films. So Nishant is the film which is the earlier work of Shyam Benegal. Then later on, Khalid Muhammad joined some of his work. In fact, he has done a documentary on Shyam Benegal also, which was recently screened in Bombay. I read it somewhere. So Fiza, Zubeda, Mamo, all these films, Khalid Muhammad has worked as a screenwriter, but not on the Nishant. Nishant is a very earlier work of Shyam Benegal. So I've included some of the posters. This is Zubeda, Nishant. This is a poster of that film. Fiza is his own film which he directed. He didn't work for Shyam Benegal, but it was his own film which he wrote as a screenplay writer and directed also. So this is a 10. Okay. So Rajnikandha, again coming back to the Vasuda, and that's why a couple of questions are being formulated on him. So Rajnikandha, starring Amol Palekar and Vidya Sinha, is based on a Hindi novel called Yahi. It's not a novel actually, it's a mistake here. It is a short story by Manuji. It's called Yahi Sach Hai. Who is the novelist? It's not a novelist, it's a who is the writer? So the correction is required in this one. So as I just told you, Manu Bhandari is the correct answer. So this is a poster. Rajnikandha was, those who don't know, was a silver jubilee in those days. Silver jubilee, nowadays you don't hear, but in those days there was the time where 3 of the Amol Palekar film in those days were silver jubilee, and Rajnikandha was one of them. This is how Manuji used to look like. She is no more now. Rajnikandha starring, again the same question but in a different language. Rajnikandha starring Amol Palekar and Vidya Sinha has been made on which novel? So again, it's not a novel, it is a story. Yahi Sach Hai, I've just told you. So it remains, the answer remains same. ये 1 इंच मुस्कान जो है मनु जी का नॉवल है. इस नॉवल के अंदर एक इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये है, मैंने पहले भी बताया था आप लोगों को, कि one of the chapter is written by her husband Rajendra Yadav and one of the chapter is written by Manu ji. So it's a kind of experiment in Hindi literature where husband wife together writes a novel, and 2 people write different chapter, but you are not able to figure it out which chapter would be written by who, until unless somebody give you a hint or something like that. So all these are the Main Haar Gayi, Trikshanku, all these are the story by Manu ji, but this is a novel. 1 Inch Muskaan is a novel. So normally you cannot measure the smile, so it's a very strange name also, 1 Inch Muskaan. It can be asked, if I would formulate a question on a Hindi literature book, I would prefer to formulate this particular one because it has a interesting experiment done in the Hindi literature. So, okay. Again, this film I have included particularly because M.K. Rana became a well-known personality. He's from theatre background based in Delhi because of this film. And Rakhi Guljar in 1974 has already acted in a Daag. She was already a big star. But for some strange reason, she acted in this art house film, which was directed by the first-time director. So, which film can be briefed as the story is about Sanjay, who is a ticket collector at the Indian Railways, played by M.K. Rana, who meets a young girl, Shalini, played by Rakhi, an LIC employee on a train. So they gave you a synopsis of the film, and then they're asking you which is the film. So it's a 27 down black and white film, which got the 2 national awards. Again, there is a question further over there. So 27 down, let me show you the poster. This is the poster of the film. So A.K. Veer received the national award for this film, and you can see national award, best Hindi film of that particular year and best photography. So Mr. Rana became popular because of this film. Not to commercially release and successful, but once you get a national award, so obviously, if your film get a national award, he didn't get the national award, but film got. So who composed the music will not be asked, but I've just included because it was Hari Prasad Chaurasia. But this question cannot be asked because it was not a national award for a music. Had it been a national award, then it would have become an important question. So 27 down, won national award for the which two categories? This is more interesting and important question. Best feature film in Hindi and best cinematography. That is more important because A.K. Veer is FTI graduate, and he got the national award for this film. So once you get a national award for a film, then obviously you are being talked about, particularly in those days when FTI was not very well known and Visa was graduate from FTI in the earlier batches. So this question become important because we got a national award and best feature film in the Hindi. It was somewhere around 1976, around that time. Not sure, but it was after 74. I think it was 76. So this is the image. Maybe A.K. Veer's photograph should be there. No, it's only one photograph. So Veer Saab is one of those cinematographer who got the Padam Shri also. This question can be formulated, particularly those who are appearing for a cinematography. Who among the following cinematographer, I have made this question also in the MCQ section of cinematography part. Who among the following got the national for the Padam Shri? So Padam Shri awarded cinematographers are basically Santosh Shivan, then A.K. Veer, then Naresh Bedi from Delhi, who is more known as a wildlife filmmaker based in Delhi. So this is just offshoot from the same thing. So 27 down in 1974. Okay, it was 74. Hindi film written directed by Avatar Krishnan Kaul, A.K. Kaul, starring Rakhi M.K. Barar, based on a novel. Now this is a tricky question because sometimes you know the name of the director, sometimes you know the name of cameraman, editor also, but you sometimes, unless you're really into the literature, you will not come to know the name of the author. So गुनाहों का देवता भाई धर्मवीर भारती, कितने पाकिस्तान, ये कुछ गलत गड़बड़ हो गया है इसके अंदर, ये मुझे करेक्ट करना है यहाँ पर. ये नाम जो लिखे हुए हैं यहाँ पे रमेश बख्शी वाला नाम इसमें नहीं दिया हुआ है, करेक्ट? और it is there, or it is there. So I'll just show you the image of the book also. So very strange name of this book, it is not there. Okay, sorry. So poster is also missing because I could not find that poster while I was searching over there. But this is the name of the story, Atha Suraj Ke Paudhe. There should be, actually, I remember I downloaded this poster when, no, नहीं, ये यहाँ नहीं है, पोस्टर ढूंढा था मैंने, बट वो पता नहीं क्यों लोड नहीं किया किसी ने. हिंदी का नाम है, बड़ा टेढ़ा मेढ़ा सा नाम भी है थोड़ा इंग्लिश में पढ़ने में. तो I have noted down that I need to load the image of this poster also. In which of the following films, अच्छा नागेश कुकनूर की कुछ फिल्में हैं जो यहाँ से हटा सकते हैं हम लोग. Has acted himself में छोड़ दो. Which of the following films जैकी श्रॉफ वाला छोड़ दो, नसीर वाला छोड़ दो. Who is the novelist? हाँ, ये डाकघर वाला क्वेश्चन इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि ये एक इंपॉर्टेंट नॉवलिस्ट के ऊपर बेस्ड है. डाकघर जो है important novelist के ऊपर based है, and it is a Tagore's novel, I suppose. Yeah. So let me just see if there should be, yeah, okay. It's not a very popular thing also, but somehow I just picked up the book. Poster मुझे इसका नहीं मिला है फिल्म का, but कुछ एक फिल्में हैं, sometimes you are not able to figure it out. But popular film नहीं है, but क्योंकि novelist important है, इसलिए जो है ये question formulate किया जा सकता है. If the novelist is important, then could be asked. बाकी के जो और क्वेश्चन है वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है उसके. हाँ जी, नंदिता दास वाला फिल्म जो है सबको पता है, रॉकफोर्ड है ये. इसका पोस्टर शायद होगा हमारे पास. ओके, It was released on cinema hall, I remember, but not a very commercially successful. So most of his films are not commercially successful. ये गिरीश कर्नाड एक्टर वाला भी ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है, ये भी इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. ये सोशल इशू के ऊपर जो है, इकबाल जो फिल्म है उसको अवार्ड मिला है, तो दैट कैन बी आस्क्ड. इकबाल इज रिलीज ऑन सिनेमा हॉल एंड पीपल नोज अबाउट इट. अगेन विद द सेम बैकग्राउंड. इसमें दूसरे तरीके से ही पूछा जा सकता है क्वेश्चन कि विच अमंग द फॉलोइंग फिल्म्स आर बेस्ड ऑन द बैकग्राउंड ऑफ क्रिकेट. तो वो उस क्वेश्चन उस तरीके से भी पूछा जा सकता है. तो समटाइम यू शुड नो लिटिल बिट अबाउट द स्टोरी ऑफ फ्यू ऑफ द फिल्म्स. हाँ, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है थोड़ा सा, क्योंकि ये बेस्ट चिल्ड्रन फिल्म का अवार्ड था उस फिल्म को लेके. एंड दिस फिल्म वाज शोन इन द बर्लिन आल्सो. इट्स कॉल्ड धानक. I haven't seen this film, but I wanted to see at that time, but for some reason I missed it out. So this is children's film. He received the award for that film. This is an important film because it's the first film Nagesh directed himself, and he acted in that film also, called Hyderabad Blues. It was a kind of a biographical film. So Hyderabad Blues uska hai, Tour uski hai. Ye Mere Pyare Prime Minister is not by him. Okay, Shekhar Kapoor's Bandit Queen, based on the life of Phulan Devi. Everybody knows about it. But sometime, if you're not very familiar, simple question like this can be answered by anyone. But a simple question also need to be formulated and kept over here. That's why I have used this thing. मेन कैरेक्टर जो है इसमें सीमा विश्वास का कैरेक्टर है बैंडिट क्वीन में. रॉक स्टार का सिनेमाटोग्राफर मैंने इसलिए पूछा है बिकॉज ही इज एफटीआई ग्रेजुएट एंड अनिल मेहता इज द नेम फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर फिल्म. So people who are alumni of FTII could also be asked. जैसे लास्ट ईयर जो है अनूप सिंह का जो क्वेश्चन था वो MCQ के अंदर पिछली बार आया था. तो people who are graduate from FTI, you should know their work, even if those films are not released, but you should know about it. So, who shot the Shekhar Kapoor's Bandit Queen is Ashok Mehta. Ashok Mehta is one of the 3 most important cinematographer of this country. I was talking yesterday with some of the students who are doing cinematography coaching in craft. So, Ashok Mehta is one, Subrata Mitra is another one, and KK Mahajan. 3 most important people in the history of Indian cinematography. So Mehta ji is one.
Excuse me, sir. Who was the second one?
Ashok Mehta, KK Mahajan. KK Mahajan was FTI graduate. One of the biggest star cinematographer FTI has ever produced. Is much bigger than Santosh Shivan. Santosh Shivan is from 2nd generation. But from 1st generation, it is more of KK Mahajan. So KK Mahajan, Veer Saab was also popular, but Veer Saab has a restricted work. But KK was big. And he also got the national award many a times. So Ashok Mehta, KK Mahajan and Subrata Mitra. 3 most important cinematographers of this country so far. Okay. So this is Mehta ji. Then we'll move to another question. Again, I'm connecting this with Ashok Mehta, taking it further. Who shot Girish Karnad's Utsav? Again, the Ashok Mehta. This film is a little more important for some other reason we will talk about. That in this film, first time in India, a light came called HMI. Before that, HMI were not used in India. It's a daylight, balance for daylight. And tungsten balance light were used outdoor with a filter put up in front of that. It was the first time HMI came to India and used in this particular film. So that is another. You're not supposed to know it, but I'm just giving you a little history of this HMI light. It's a very heavy light, balance for daylight color temperature. Okay. So it was Ashok Mehta, and let me just show you the photograph. Mehta ji always used to wear the hat. This is Girish Karnad, and this is Ashok Mehta. He's no more now. One of the highest paid cinematographer of this country, and whose date I have seen people used to wait. Okay, this is also an important question because famous play by Shudrak, Mrichkatingam, and this is based on that. And Grish Karnad directed this film. So since Grish is more from theater background, so somehow he managed to convince that should be produced. Shashi Kapoor produced this film, by the way. Those who don't know should know it. Shashi Kapoor I like him because of one of the reasons that he patronized the theater in, of course, its grandfather was more into theater than he himself. But Prithviraj Kapoor was the main guy who was from theater background. Raj Kapoor was not into it, but at least Shashi Kapoor patronized the theater a lot. And he also produced some of the sensible work, including Utsav. So that's another thing. Some of the films by Ismail Merchant and Shashi were very good friends. And some of the film, if you look into the Merchant Ivory production, also just please note it down. I may not have included here. Merchant Ivory production is the most important production house of this country because he was the first person from India who produced international films which were directed by Ismail Merchant and James Ivory, and Ismail Merchant was the producer. Till he directed the film called In Custody, which is based on the novel by Anita Desai. That question is also important. Anita, which novel the In Custody was based? Muhafiz was the Hindi version of that. And of course, they were the friends. So who else would do a best character of a poet? And it was Shashi Kapoor who played the character. The film was not successful. On the contrary, I would say when it was released on Friday, on Tuesday or Monday, it was taken out from the cinema hall in Bombay, which was a pity. But since he was well connected internationally, so he managed to recover his money. But that was his first film as a director. Before that, he always acted as a producer. So earlier work of the Merchant Ivory productions were Shakespeare Walas and Householder, in which you see Shashi Kapoor acting. So please note down that all the work of Merchant Ivory production is important from the examination point of view, though I may not have included here, but you are going to give the exam, not Naresh Sharma. Remember it. Okay, so this is over. Who directed? Okay, this we have already discussed, the Grish Karnad. Okay, Gulzar, Meghna Gulzar's Razi. We will talk about Gulzar later on. First, for some strange reason, this film came up. So sometime you come across some novel by someone and you like it, but you may not be knowing it because normally people are least bothered about based on which story and all that. But from examination point of view, this is important. So Raji is based on a novel written by an ex-naval officer who is a novelist. So is Harinder Singh Sikka. This is the name of the novel also, you can see. Next question is that Calling Sehmat. So Meghna Gulzar's Razi is based on a novel. What is the name of the novel? So this time they are asking the name of the novel. The same image which I have already shown you. Okay. Which of the following films does not have Seema Biswas in it? Water, Fire, Company, Bandit Queen. Everybody knows that it is Fire. Shekhar Kapoor. Now, this is a tricky question on Shekhar Kapoor because it is not a famous film for Indian audience because it was a British film funded by a British company. This Four Feather, I have seen this film into some festival, I don't remember where, but yeah, it was in Bombay, I saw it. Correct. Bombay Mami Film Festival, I saw this. So it is A.E.W. Mason का novel है जिसके ऊपर ये based है. So it's a difficult question for those who may not have heard about this film, but it was a big budget film and all that. Very unlike film of Shekhar Kapoor, but somehow he directed it. So sometimes there's a money, so you do it. It's a big production values and all that. Well shot film, very grippy film, but somehow it didn't work. So not many people knows about this film. तो ये ध्यान रखिएगा, ऐसा उटपटांग का क्वेश्चन 4 feather type अगर कोई आ जाएगा तो आप लोगों को मुश्किल हो जाएगा until unless you know it. Now you know it. तो ये नाम भी याद रखना पड़ेगा. A.E.W. Mason, C.A.E.B. Mason. ऐसे कोई Mason के आगे A.E.W. पूरा सब exactly पता होना चाहिए ये A.E.W. है. वो 4 मैसन रख देगा यहाँ पे नाम, तो तुम फंस जाओगे उसके अंदर। तो ये ध्यान रखना, AEW मैसन, देखने में इसकी शक्ल कैसी लगती है, आई डोंट नो, वी हैव नॉट इंक्लूडेड द इमेज ऑफ द नॉवलिस्ट, बट you also need to do some work for your own reference. हाँ जी. For which of the following films did Shekhar Kapoor receive National Film Award as a director? Bandit Queen is the film. Pani is never made. Elizabeth, of course, made, but it is not it's an international film. So Masoom, he also directed the film, but it's not where he got the national award. One of his finest film, you must watch this film called Masoom, if you are a fan of Shekhar Kapoor. He directed that film, but Masoom's screenplay is written by not Shekhar Kapoor. Remember it. This can be a question which can be asked, which many people would wrongly answer it. It is basically the Gulzar who wrote the screenplay of Masoom. And there's a long story behind it, because he wanted to direct Manu Mandari's Aapka Banti, but somehow it didn't work out. So he wrote a screenplay. And in that particular film also, there is a scene which he pays tribute to Manuji, where his children are saying, this is my seat and this is your seat. Why did you sit on my seat? So Urmila Matkaonkar is also acted in as a child artist in that film. So if you see the film, you will be able to recognize her also. One of the finest work of Shekhar Kapoor in terms of those kind of subject. Okay. So the screenplay of Masoom is not by Shekhar Kapoor, it is by Gulzar, and also lyrics by Gulzar, and of course dialogue also by Gulzar. So Shekhar Kapoor won the Oscar Award Best Makeup in 1999. ये ध्यान रखिएगा, शेखर कपूर की फिल्म, उसको शेखर कपूर को नहीं मिला है. His film got the best award, and obviously it is Elizabeth, because it was nominated for 8-9 Oscar in that particular year. Please try to mug it up how many Oscar it was nominated, because this question can be asked. Sometimes they ask some stupid questions of numbers. I remember a few years back there was a MCQ. Mr. Narendra Modi is 23rd Prime Minister, 24th or 25th, something like that. Now, how does it matter whether it's 24, 23 and 22nd? It doesn't matter. But there are always all kind of people on this planet. They ask these numerically oriented questions. So do mug up how many Elizabeth was nominated for. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it is. But you must remember. So it won in this particular category called makeup. So that's why I have formulated this question. But another thing, who's the screenwriter of the Yash Chopra's Kabhi Kabhi? Why I have included this question? अब तुम कहोगे हम तो लोगों के screenplay writeरों के नाम ही याद करते फिरेंगे. वो पूछने को कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं. Last year they also asked some stupid question of the producer of this film and that. So God knows why they formulated such question of producer. But screenplay writer is more important, particularly for Kabhi Kabhi. I remember the poster of this film in which it is very clearly mentioned, written by Sagar Saradi. So Sagar Saradi collaborated on Kabhi Kabhi, and music is by Khayyam. So Sagar Saradi is the screenplay writer of Kabhi Kabhi, and Sagar Saradi passed away last year, so I included this particular question over here. So as I said, that somebody passes away, it becomes an important question. I have also mentioned previously that there is a very strong possibility that any of the question connected with the Godard can be asked in the MCQ section this year, because he passed away. So, okay, move further. Hanji. So we have this already discussed. Who is the screenplay writer of Masoom, directed by Shekhar Kapoor? I have already told you it is Gulzar. Okay, again, two works which are very, very important in the life of Yash Chopra. It's Silsila. I remember watching this film many, many years back on cinema hall when it was released. And Bachchan never talk about any film before the film begins. So this was a film in which he give little commentary before the film begins, or in the promo somewhere or something like that, but he talk about a little bit about the film. So Silsila, who is the screenwriter of Silsila? It is again the Sagar Saradi. So very controversial film in those days, because it is a Jaya Bachchan and Rekha who acted in this film and playing those characters. Okay, so again coming to another film, since it was Sagar Saradi, so I again formulated this question of Anubhav. Again, Basu Chatterjee, Basu Bhattacharya is the correct answer of this film, Anubhav. Bazaar is a film which he directed and made on a very shoestring budget, almost I would say 2 lakh or something like that. In those days, in 1982, 2 lakh was a big amount of money. And it was a commercially successful film. And this is an interesting film to note that actually in this film, he used the poetry of some well-known poets. And those songs became popular. Dikhai Diye Jo Unki Yaad was one, and a couple of more songs also. And obviously, the Khayyam was a composer of this film. It's the same guy who composed for Umrao Jan also. A very sophisticated and refined composer of our time, mostly for the poetry which are complicated to compose. So Bazaar was the film which was directed by Sagar Saradi. And Shahryar, I think, no, Shahryar was for the Umrao Jan. Umrao Jan's lyric was written by Shahryar, not by these poets. Mir Taqi Mir's poetry is there in this Bazaar also. But the question which will be asked is who directed the Bazaar? Which of the following films, normally the question do not ask like this, but I have formulated simply to highlight one thing. Which of the following films of Shujit Sarkar does not have Avik Mukhopadhyay as a cinematographer? Most of the film of Shujit are by Avik Mukhopadhyay, another graduate from FTI Pune. So Madras Cafe is by someone else, and that's how I included this question. Again, Nihar Ranjan is again FTI graduate, and he's a sound designer. He worked with this guy, which I have mentioned below. Well, I forgot his name. Vishudip Chatterjee. Ranjan does the location sound, and Vishudip does the sound mixing and studio bass. So they work together. So in this particular film, Nihar was not the recordist. So which is that film? It's called Pikku. Occasionally people experiment and they have some different person. So which of the following films of Shujit Sarkar does not have a Vishudip Chatterjee? Some of the important film of Shujit Sarkar has Vishudip as a main lead sound designer. So again, since he is a graduate from FTI Pune and one of the most important sound designers of our time. So Gulabo Sitabo also do not have Vishudip Chatterjee as a sound designer. Which film of the Shujit Sarkar based on the Sri Lankan Civil War? Now here is a story they are giving, was grabbed as a National Film Award for the best audiography. Again, the Madras Cafe. So this is the film which I have included. For which of the following film did Shujit Sarkar receive a national award? Which is obviously everybody knows Vicky Donor is the film which was for which he received the national award. Anurag Kashyap Black Friday is important because it is based on a novel by Hussain Zaidi. So this is important. If one question which can be formulated or somebody would like to formulate on Anurag Kashyap would be the Black Friday, because that's how he became an important filmmaker. So this is maybe I'll just show you the image of this if we have one. Okay, so this is poster, I suppose. This is the writer. Moving further. Okay. Which of the following is not a documentary by Gulzar? अब ये क्या है, थोड़ा सा गुलजार बहुत सारे फिल्म मेकरों ने क्या है, कुछ फिल्म डिवीजन के लिए फिल्म बना दिया, किसी के लिए कुछ बना दिया. तो because if you are not doing something important and if there is a money coming through somewhere, so why don't you make it? So ये इसमें जो है सबको पता है कोशिश जो है फिक्शन फिल्म है, not a documentary film. So it is a कोशिश. So it's a very strange question that way, but sometime somebody who's from documentary filmmaking may like to make a film may like to do a film like this, question like this. Okay, this is a very, now we are moving to Gulzar, so be a little careful. Some of the name you will be hearing first time. And as I said, the Gulzar is one of the important filmmaker of our time. So any question, and he himself is a writer and poet. So some of his work, rather most of his work, I would say, are based on a short story or a novel by someone. So Mausam and Andhi, these are the two films which are written by the same person. That's why I put them together. Is called Kamleshwar. Those people who have seen, not many of you, I would say, but maybe your parents, your father or mother, who have seen the 26 January's parade, it was always the Kamleshwar's voice over. Kamleshwar became popular also because of this reason. That is, he will narrate the commentary of that particular day for many, many years. And that's another thing. So Kamleshwar is the correct answer for Mausam and Andhi. It also happens if a writer's work is being picked up by a filmmaker, he become more well-known, or I would say popular. But that's the way it is. So let me just show you the posters which you just recollect for the memory's sake. This is a film in which Sharmila Tagore plays as a character of a prostitute, and very well played role of Sharmila Tagore. This is Andhi. Suchitra Sen, again a Bengali actress who has acted in a very limited number of films in Hindi cinema. Andhi is one such film. This is how Kamleshwar look like. Okay. Now there's another film called Mere Apne. Mere Apne is based on a story by Indra Mitra. This is the one, not a very celebrity author, but sometime if you like particular film, so you pick up from there. So you can see the is a Meena Kumari. Meena Kumari is very different kind of a film. Shatrughan Sinha and all these people. So little difficult question, but you never know. It's the mindset of the examiner, which they can ask any question, whatever they feel like. So this is an important name which you are going to hear is called Khwaja Ahmad Abbas, K.A. Abbas. He has written many short stories. He himself basically was a journalist first, later on become a scriptwriter and dialogue writer, mainly the scriptwriter. And he has directed himself also a couple of films. So this is based on a story by Khwaja Ahmad Abbas. We'll just show you how it look like. This is a poster of that film, Achanak, and so once you recollect the poster image of the actor or sometime read a little bit of synopsis, then it becomes easier for you to remember it. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to remember these names. And as I said, is the only person, Guldar, who has many. Of course, Ray also has used various short stories. We will come to the Satyajit Ray at some other point. Any question connected with Satyajit Ray is the most important question can be asked in any of the MCQ paper. And I would say 90% of his films are based on some short story or a novel. Okay. So Guldar and they have this kind of a similarity that they pick up a ready-made story and then they develop into a screenplay and then compose into a feature film screenplay later on. So Salil Chaudhary, who composed the background score of Guldar's Mere Apne, again the same question based on Guldar. So if there is a image, let me just show you. No, not really. Anyway. So this is again which is the only Hindi film of Guldar that star Bengali actor Uttam Kumar. Uttam Kumar is much more popular and well known in West Bengal than a Hindi cinema. Though he has acted in a Hindi cinema also, but not everybody would be able to recollect how he looked like and all that. But in those days, into the late 60s and early 70s, he has acted in many films. So this is the one. Very which of the following, which is the only Hindi film Guldar Uttam Kumar has not. So sometime now this question also give you a little hint that it is important for you to remember the actor and actresses also, who acted in which film. So if you recollect that, particularly for those people who are going to appear in an acting course has question connected with actor. So this question can be in a MSQ question can be asked. This can be formulated in a MSQ. You give the two names and then it will be a MSQ question by the same guy. So Guljar's Parichaya is based on a Bengali novel called Rangeen Uttarayan. Who is the novelist? Now, this is a really difficult question until unless you know. I didn't know before. I have seen the film Parichaya, but I did not know that who will be the writer. Because when you're watching, you are least bothered about who is the writer. You later on, when you have to study for some reason, or you come across some question like this. So it was Rajkumar Mitra, not a very well-known in at least Hindi literature. There are some people from West Bengal which are well-known, but not this guy. So this is a poster. If you search some more posters of the person, then it will be easier for you to remember the name, and you will be able to connect the person with the name. Say, for example, there are some other novelists which are more popular in the West Bengal also. Just I'll give an example. Satyajit Ray's film called Aranya Din Ratri is based on a novel. Okay, so just do some little homework and find out who's the novelist, and is one of the most important literary figure in West Bengal. So sometime a popular name, sometime not so popular name. This can be asked, but it's a mindset of the person. I was surprised that last time in MCQ, they asked Vijay Dandeta's a collection of short stories, which I never heard of, but they can ask anything. Khushbu. Khushbu is again a very... Just give me a moment. Okay. So, a well-known novelist, Chandra Chattopadhyay's Khushbu, directed by Guldar, novel called So and So, and this is directed by Guldar, and novelist is Sharat Chand Chattopadhyay. So this is the poster, how the poster look like, and everybody knows how Sharat Chand look like. Okay. So Kitab. Samresh Basu is the story called Pathik, and let me see if there is an image of Samresh Basu. No, there is no. But this is anybody who can recognize this guy is the same guy I just mentioned, Uttam Kumar. Just give me a moment. Let me switch off this. Okay. So we move. Poster I have already, there is no image of Samresh Basu. Oh, there is. Okay. So this is how it look like. Try to search some more images, and probably it will be easier for you to remember the name when you connect with the face. So image is always helpful to remember these names, otherwise it will be very difficult. Moving to a little further. Masoom, I have already told you, is written by Guljar, is directed by whom? Shekhar Kapoor. Which of the following films of the Guljar starring Bengali actress Suchitra Sen? I have already told you, shown you the poster also. So some of the film which Suchitra Sen has acted, Andi is one of the film. Then there are 3-4 more films also in which she has acted. Not so many films, though she was well known in the West Bengal, but not in the Hindi cinema. But this film is important. Another film I remember is with Dharmender. I don't remember the name of the film, but she acted against Dharmender also. Okay. So Ijazat. Ijazat is a very interesting film which is shot by Ashok Mehta. That's how I remember. And it was not commercially released, if I'm not mistaken, but I've seen this film on cinema hall. So it's based on a Bengali story called Jatu Griha. Who is the author? Now, I don't know how he found this story and how, but sometimes there's a translation of those stories into the Hindi also. So you, or maybe some collection of someone somewhere you can always find. So that could be a reason. So Subodh Ghosh story, not sure if I have an image, but it is a Nasiruddin Shah in this film, and you see the railway station, a lot of very interesting film. You should watch this film. This is a film which I would recommend to see for strange reason, but you should see this film. Not Guldar's film are like that, but this is a different subject he picked up and how he made that film. It's also very important from cinematography point of view. Mehtaji is one of the best work, I would say, in this particular film. Okay, so we'll move to this name. This is a little strange because Guldar has written some children's work also. If you remember that Masoom popular song, Lakdi ki gaadi gaadi pe ghoda, something like that. It was very popular in those days. So Guldar has this knack of doing some children's work also. So this is Adventure of Milo. It is by, it's not very popular, but I've just included this name called Chatran. If there is a poster, let me just see. Yeah, there is a one. This is the original thing. His most popular Gana, which was into some TV serial, Jungle Jungle Pata Chala Hai, Chaddi Pehen Ke Phool Khila Hai. That was written by Guldar. It was composed by Vishal Bhardwaj. So this is Guldar. Again, Libas is another. This question is called, Libas is based on a story called Seema, who is the author. So he himself, I suppose, wrote this story. Yeah, Guldar, it is his own story. Namkeen is again a film which is very different kind of a film. And again, I'm coming to, you also need to remember who are the actor and actresses in this film, so that the question can be formulated based on those, particularly for actor and actresses. So as we have already discussed earlier, Samresh Basu's story. So this is how the poster of the film look like. This is our author, we have already shown you. Okay. Angur is, if I would formulate a question, I would choose this question. Guldar's Angur is based on a play by Shakespeare. Which is it? Before I forget, all the students who are appearing for an acting exam, please read the synopsis of Shakespeare's play. All plays. And some of the characters are very popular. Say, for example, 7, 8, every play will have a 1 or 2 important characters for sure. So at least those names should be remembered by you. And what is the synopsis of those plays? Sometime they can ask a question connected with Shakespeare, particularly for the MSQ question section. So Angur is a film which I have seen at least 6 to 7 times in cinema hall. Rather, I would say it's the only film in my life which I have seen 6 to 7 times. As a child, I was in a 6th or 7th standard, and it was a comedy film. So it was holidays, so I've seen a couple of times this particular film. So Comedy of Errors, everybody knows, and this is a film which is based on that. Very often in this particular film, there is a dialogue delivery sequence, which I quote how to deliver a dialogue, which is, if you read the dialogue, there's nothing funny about it, but the way Sanjeev Kumar delivers that dialogue is important. So this you need to remember. It's a Comedy of Error, and it's a film called Angur. And that's one, because Vishal Bhardwaj has worked very often with Guldar, so that's, I would say, influence can be seen on his work. The 3 important films which he has directed are based on the Shakespeare's play. So that is that important for other, but Guldar has done only 2 films or 1 film, I suppose. Okay, Blue Umbrella is not very well-known work of the Vishal Bhardwaj, but you should know because it is a novelist, which is more important. And sometimes people can formulate a question like this. So Vishal Bhardwaj's Blue Umbrella is based on a novel by Ruskin Bond. So let me just show you the poster if there is. Yeah, there is a poster. This is how Ruskin Bond look like. Here the Anita Desai is also there, so don't get confused. It is that particular thing which I told you. Muhafiz. Anita Desai's Muhafiz is the most popular work which can be from the examination point of view. There can be other popular work also. But I'm talking, whatever I'm talking is from the examination point of view, not otherwise. Remember. So Vishal Bhardwaj's Maqbool is based on a play by Shakespeare. What is the play? Everybody knows. Show you the image. इस फिल्म का नाम पहले मियां मकबूल था, फिर बाद में जो है इसको चेंज करके मकबूल के नाम से रखा गया. It's an interesting film. If you have not seen it, please watch it. हाँ जी. Omkara, everybody knows. Again, is a Shakespeare. Thallo. And let me show you the poster. This is how it looked like. Okay. So now it is 9:30. And quickly we'll break for 10 minutes. And we'll be back on 9:40. So for 10 minutes, we'll take a break and we'll be back at 9:40. So, okay, guys, we're back. So we have covered till Othello. We'll move to next section. Okay. So Heather. Vishal Bhardwaj's film Heather sometimes it's is I've forgotten to tell you that sometimes if you get confused, then how you remember is H is the first word. Okay, here. So Heather with H. Now think of the which start with H. So Hamlet. So Heather and H, you can connect with it so that you will not become confused. Again, with the Omkara, if you recollect, Omkara start with O and Othello start with O. So O and O, H and H. This is easy to remember. And Makbul, if you also recollect, Makbul is M and Macbeth is M. So this is the way I remember the questions answer sometimes. You need to find some kind of a connectivity. So the easy to remember. Heather H, Omkara O, Othello, Makbul M, Macbeth. So this is how you can easily remember the name of the play and the film. So that's how you can connect. This kind of image was used very often in theater also. Whenever somebody would make a play's poster, you will see this kind of image. So he inspired from there and formulated into the similar thing into the cinema. One of the finest work of Vishal Bhardwaj as well as for the actor also. हाँ जी, ये थोड़ा टेढ़ा क्वेश्चन है. सात खून माफ. सात खून माफ is based on a novel called Susanna's Seven Husbands. Who is the novelist? If you recollect, I have already told you that one of his work, Blue Umbrella, is based on the story by Ruskin Bond. So again, he goes to the Ruskin Bond and does this novel. Quickly show you the image or a poster. This is how it looked like. Okay. Now this is difficult until unless you really know it. It's a story of a Charan Singh Pathik and not a very well-known film, but again, Pataka is these two girls and this is how the poster look like. Very cluttered and very unlike, very simple kind of poster, but that's the way it is. Not many of the work of this guy is done in the cinema, but at least this film was made on this, so it becomes important. Okay, here I have not added those things, so it is a straightway forward questions. National award you need to remember for a particular year, so this is going to be 2020 now, and 2019 is already over, so I will not talk about this. Quickly we'll go to the, this is again previous year's thing. You need to remember the latest one. So this is an important question of MF Hussain. So which among the following options, sometime if you don't read the question correctly, you will end up answering incorrectly. Very simple. To read the question, it's saying which among the following option is true statement about the painter MF Hussain. He directed Through the Eye of a Painter. Yes. He directed Color of Absence. No. Color of Absence किसने डायरेक्ट किया है? कौन आदमी बताएगा? 33 लोग सो रहे हैं यहाँ पे बैठ के, किसी को नहीं पता क्या हो रहा है. डॉक्यूमेंट्री है कलर ऑफ एब्सेंस. और कौन कौन से पेंटर हैं जरा पता करिए. डॉक्यूमेंट्री वाले दिन मैंने बोला था, आप लोग सो रहे थे उस दिन जब मैं बोल रहा था. एफटीआई का ग्रेजुएट है, 1975 बैच का वो आदमी. हाँ जी. We'll move to another. He directed Sound of Silence. No. He directed Dance of Wind. No. So the correct answer is Through the Eye of the Painter. Who among the following was the first film critics? A difficult question. If you don't know the answer, you will not be able to answer it. Who among the following was the first film critics who received the National Award for writing on cinema in Hindi language? Prajeshan Madan. मदान साहब की टक्कर का आदमी मैंने हिंदुस्तान के अंदर सिनेमा में नहीं देखा. He wrote in Hindi language, and if you pick up any of his article and mix with 100 people's article, I can find out which one is Madan Saab's article. It's that kind of signature he has in his writing. And very often he will start with some international reference of some film, even if he's writing a say for example, article on Delhi Metro. Now Delhi Metro has nothing to do with Louis Buñuel, but he will start with some Buñuel's film and connect with that with the metro. So that was Manan Sahab. He's no more, and very, very knowledgeable man. He has written a collection of short stories also, which are very abstract, very Guldar kind of novel will be there. Aankh, Makhi, Haath, Pair, like Machis. Machis is a title by Guldar. So those kind of one-word title will be there of his short stories. If somebody is interested, one can read, but you must read the articles written by Manan Sahab. He has also written a book called Cinema, which is difficult to find. It must be somewhere, but if you want to find, you will find it. Okay, Farrukh Dhondy is an important man. Why? Because he was various reasons. One of the most important reason was he was the commissioning editor of Channel 4, the multicultural section. He commissioned many films for Bobby Bedi, and that's how I formulated this question. He was the commissioning editor with the Channel 4 for the Bandit Queen produced by Bobby Bedi. Yes. Commissioning editor with BBC Bandit Queen produced by Bobby Bedi. Why this is same thing? Okay. Who among the following is a false? Okay, which is going to be a false? So it's an MCQ. There will be one statement which is a false. Script writer of The Rising, yes. He's a co-script writer of the Kisna. The warrior poet, yes. So no, sorry, Mangal Pandey. No, he was with Mangal Pandey also. So there is some problem. Commissioning editor with BBC Bandit Queen produced by the Bobby. Okay, it is not produced by the Bobby Bedi. It is produced by the. So no. BBC, he was not the commissioning editor with the BBC. He was the commissioning editor with the Channel 4, which is mentioned over there. So this is an incorrect statement. Rest are all correct because he was a co-script writer of the Kisna, also the Mangal Pandey. But BBC is a wrong thing. He was never with the BBC. So this is an incorrect answer. Sometimes it becomes tricky to figure it out, which is the correct answer. So what I'm asking is, which is false about the Farrukh Dhondy. So he was never with the BBC. It was Channel 4 who produced the Bandit Queen. So we finished this cinema section today, particularly this Bollywood section. In future, next time, we will pick up something else. Preferably foreign language Oscar I would pick up. There are 64 questions over there to be discussed. So we'll move to another thing today. I have also decided to discuss a little bit about literature section, because here also we are talking about the which story is based on which thing. So I picked up some of the Hindi books today we will discuss. Around 77 books are being listed here, though there may be many more books, but I have listed only the 77. Now, before I start, I always do a little research before making this thing. So there are roughly around 30-40 people who are in my Facebook list. And I posted one long back a question that which are the 10 most famous books you will think are being written in Hindi literature. So everybody will come out with their list and all that. And then I will jot down the name of those things and then figure it out, which are the common ones. So these are the names which I have found that all these 40 people have these names in their list. Among the 10 names, these are the names which all these everybody, not everybody, I will say maximum people enlisted these names as a common name. So I figure it out. These are the most popular book, because somebody who's from literature, he will be able to. There's a difference between popular and I would say personal book, because personally you may like something, it may not be a popular. If you ask me 10 films which I think are a great film, 3 films are the one which you may not have even heard of it. So they are my personal liking. So personal liking is something else and popular is something else. So I have made this list which are commonly found in the list of all these 40 people, or at least 6-7 people or 8 people enlisted those books. So let's go by one. So who is the author of the Jhoota Sach? And okay, also last time I told you that we have tried to include the cover of the book, but if that is not there, I tried, but sometimes you don't. So Jhoota Sach is by Yashpal. Let me see if there is a image for sure, I suppose. Okay, this is, you can see the very interesting image, how ups and down idea of people going from left to right and then again from right to left. So two images are there. So there are two also different plays. Sorry, the text, Jhuta Sat and Vatan Aur Desh. So two novels are being put together. So that's why this kind of a poster probably, but I'm not sure. So this is one. Sometimes these names are difficult to pronounce because their name actually is a Hindi and you write in this English kind of a thing. So you have to see the image to figure it out. Maya Das ki Madi is again a very typical Hindi name, difficult Hindi name, I would say. Bhishma Sani's novel and image is also there, I suppose. So this is the way it look like. It's one of the covers. Sometimes you might find 2-3 different covers. Just one cover only. Okay. Gid. We had told you last time also when we were talking about the play. It's Vijay Tendulkar. But here I have also included for some strange reason. Praveen Kumar Gunjan has done this production. Adha Gaon, again, this is Rahi Masum Raza. If you remember the Mahabharat's dialogue was also Rahi Masum Raza, and some of the work in the literature is also well known. So this is how Adha Gaon look like, Dr. Rahi Masum Raza. His brother Muniz Raza was Vice Chancellor of Delhi University long back, just to give you a little idea of the reference. So Adha Gaon is who wrote the novel. So sometime why it is again and again. Okay, it's by mistake. I'll refine it. Manas Ka Hans is the same question can be asked in a two different way. Who wrote the book Manas Ka Hans, and what could be the another option of formulating the same question is what this book is all about. So if you do not know the synopsis or if you do not know the central character, I've also told you this is very important for acting student also about various lead actor and actresses of films, which say for example today we were discussing about Gulzar. So it is about the Tulsidas, this novel, and that's why I'm saying again and again, you should read the synopsis later on when we will update this MCQ thing. We will also add the explanation part. So if you go here, say for example, you click here, there is also an explanation. We have not added the explanation here, but later on at the second round of refinement, we will also try to add some small synopsis so that you will be able to remember that particular thing. So Tulsidas Manas Ke Hans, very interesting poster of this book. We found it. So since it is clearly mentioned here, Amritlal Nagar. Amritlal Nagar is one of those very well-known and very respectable name in the Hindi literature. Those who know a little bit about Hindi literature, very often you will see his name. So Amritlal Nagar, again, since we have already told you, so it's the same thing. Again, who wrote the book this time? Not the subject, but the author. So this is two ways of formulating a question. Circle of Reason is an English novel by Amitabh Ghosh. And let me just show you the image is not there, but you will find in the internet for sure. This is a recent work. Okay. Last time I had forgotten the name of the author. So somebody asked me later on also, what is the name of that book, which is about the Kanhailal's work. One of the most important men in the Northeast about theatre is called Kanhailal. Pebat is one of his popular play and memoirs of Africa. So this is a book written by Rustam Barucha. If you ever want to spend some money and read about his work, you must buy this book. It's not very expensive, some 400, 500 rupees it will cost you, and you can easily buy it from the internet. So this is the only book which I could find. So some other people have written extensively about the Kanhailal's work. And as I said last time, it is not Padam Shri, but Padam Bhushan he received for his contribution. He is no more. National Slow Drama paid tribute in the Bharat Rang Mahotsav by showcasing his play in the opening play when he passed away. So is that important a man? V.S. Naipaul, one of those Indian authors based abroad. You should know a little bit of synopsis of all these, or at least 6 to 7 of his novel, so that sometime it becomes easier. V.S. Naipaul could be asked in any of the MCQ. They may pick up the 2 or 3 lines. As I have already told you, 27 down, I picked up the synopsis of that film and ask you what are the 2 categories for which it got the national award. So any of the novel of, so here I have created a confusion. Enigma of Arrival is not a novel by him. There is no novel by Enigma of Arrival. So this is the correct answer. Let me show you the name. Oh, sorry, there is no image. Sorry. So we'll move to another one. Vyam Raksham. So it's a Hindi novel, as I said earlier. It's a little tricky to pronounce, but once you look at twice or thrice, you should be able to easily. Acharya Chatur Sen is another important man in the Hindi literature. 2-3 books which we have listed over here. This is one of the, as it says, Hindi ka Kaljayi means cult novel. So Vyam Raksham, this is how it looked like. Okay. Pinjar, a feature film is already being made on this novel by Dr. Chandra Prakash Dwivedi, and Chandra Prakash Dwivedi has also directed a well-known serial, and then he has recently did a film which was a flop with Akshay Kumar, but that's not a question. Question is that you should know Pinjar because Amrita Pritam's novel it was based on, and hence it is a important. This is how the poster of the film. Rasidi Ticket and couple of other works of Amrita Pritam you should know. I have not included many, but just one because it is a film. Once a novel is being selected by a filmmaker, so that become a little more important. So I have selected Pinjar. Can be asked. Anand Math, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay. Not a very interesting image, but that's the way it is. Hanji, Chandrakanta. Those who knows about these series, it was Devki Nandan Khatri. This is one of the image I could find it. Gunahon Ka Devta is well-known, I would say rather very well-known novel by Dr. Dharamveer Bharti. So very strong chance that can be asked. Again, Dharamveer Bharti, Suraj Ka Satwaं Ghoda. People have done a plays on this novel also. But Shyam Benegal did a film on this novel, Suraj Ka Satwaं Ghoda. Again, Dr. Dharamveer Bharti. This film has it has a very long duration shots. If you have seen the film, if you have not seen, then probably if you can find, maybe on the website of what you call NFDC. NFDC also has a paid website where you can see the work which are done by NFDC. So it's easy to see those films today. Earlier, when OTT was not there, very few people could see those work. So it was difficult until unless you are your film festival buff, it was difficult, but now it is easy. So Band Gali, sorry, Suraj Ka Satwaं Ghoda is done. बंद गली का आखिरी मकान, ये हिंदी का नाम है, थोड़ा सा टेढ़ा मेढ़ा सा नाम है, बट आपको याद रखने पड़ेंगे हिंदी के नाम भी, चाहे टेढ़े मेढ़े हैं सीधे सीधे हैं, इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बट यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. So Dharamveer Bharti is another work. No image here. So image is always good idea, but somehow it's not here. Anam Das Ka Potha, again very well-known work by Dr. Hazari Prasad Dwivedi, a very important author in the Hindi literature. If you have, some of his work is being also considered as a part of the syllabus. So you can see Samiksha and Vyakhya. It means this novel is that important that somebody has written the critical analysis of that novel. So question answer, as I said, that is work which are included into the literature of syllabus of the Hindi literature somewhere, that becomes more important because everybody is studying, whosoever is studying the literature. So that's the way it is. Kamayani, everybody knows about it, Jaishankar Prasad. हिंदी का महत्वपूर्ण महाकाव्य रामायणी. हाँ जी. काशी का 80. Let me just see. Obviously, sometime the name help. Kashinath, Kashi. As I said, that connect become helpful. So this is one of the book cover I could find. Okay. So move little further and Yama. Who's the writer of Yama? So Mahadevi Verma. Let me see if there is an interesting image. This is the one. Some of the people who wrote extensively in some other language sometime may not find many popular work in Hindi literature, but some are there. अब ये बड़ा अजीब सा नाम है प्रोनाउंस करने में, उसके हिस्से की धूप. तो निर्मल वर्मा is another important author in Hindi literature, and I have included couple of his work. This is just an example, some strange image. So हिंदी में पढ़ना आसान होता है, ये गलत वहां पे क्वेश्चन है, उसके हिस्से की धूप. आगे क्वेश्चन जो है वो उसके हैं. Sometime you get confused with some strange name. It is a Mridula Garg, not Nirmal Verma. So I'll correct this thing. गबन. प्रेमचंद के जितने भी नॉवल हैं सब याद कर लो, कोई भी पूछा जा सकता है. ये 2-3 यहाँ पे इंक्लूड किए हैं मैंने. Nirmala, again Nirmala, a TV serial was made in which Dinesh Khanna, who was ex-NSD director, acted in that particular serial. That's how I remember. Rangbhumi is again Premchand. तो प्रेमचंद की जितनी भी कहानियां हैं, शॉर्ट स्टोरी, पॉपुलर शॉर्ट स्टोरीज, जैसे गुल्ली डंडा, बड़े भाई साहब, ऐसे कुछ कहानियां हैं प्रेमचंद की जिनको थिएटर में भी बहुत लोगों ने इनेक्ट किया है. तो बड़े भाई साहब, जैसे मैंने बताया, ये सब ऐसी जो कहानियां हैं, छोटी छोटी कहानी तो छोटी होती है, बट प्रेमचंद की कुछ वेल नोन स्टोरीज जो है वो भी आप जो है याद रख सकते हैं. पूछा जा सकता है विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टोरी इज नॉट रिटन बाय प्रेमचंद. तो 3 कहानियां दे दी जो प्रेमचंद की हैं और चौथी जो है उसकी नहीं है. तो ये नॉट वाली थ्योरी में भी क्वेश्चन जो है आपसे पूछा जा सकता है. तो इसलिए कुछ क्वेश्चन मैंने नॉट वाली थ्योरी में बनाए हुए हैं. नरेश मेहता, 2 एकांत. बड़ा अजीब सा नाम है, 2 एकांत. एकांत का मतलब अकेले होता है, बट 2 एकांत नरेश मेहता का नॉवल है. Sometime you may not be very familiar with these name, but जैसे हजारी प्रसाद द्विवेदी हर एक ने सुना होगा कभी ना कभी जिंदगी में, बट नरेश मेहता शायद ना सुना हो. बट ऐसा होता है कि बहुत सारे लोग पॉपुलर नहीं होते हैं, बट देयर वर्क इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज सम ऑफ द वर्क इज बीइंग अवॉर्डेड. जैसे एक हिंदी के अंदर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट अवार्ड है ज्ञानपीठ. अगर आपको ज्ञानपीठ मिला है तो आप जो है एस्टेब्लिश्ड ऑथर हैं. तो ज्ञानपीठ के जितने भी लोग हैं हिंदी वाले, प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट यू रिमेंबर द नेम ऑफ दोज पीपल. ज्ञानपीठ जो है, ज्ञानपीठ टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया का ट्रस्ट है एक, जो हिंदी साहित्य के अंदर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट माना जाता है. ज्ञानपीठ अवार्ड का मतलब यू हैव अराइव्ड. हु इज द ऑथर ऑफ अंतिम अरण्य. जैसे मैंने पहले बोला था कि निर्मल वर्मा, आई गॉट कंफ्यूज विद दैट पर्टिकुलर मृदुला गर्ग का जो नॉवल है उसके हिस्से की धूप. इट इज बाय समटाइम दीज strange name, you just quickly try to tick it, but take some time and make sure that it is not getting confused. तो अंतिम अरण्य जो है निर्मल वर्मा का नॉवल है, और पोस्टर मैं आपको दिखा देता हूं। इस टाइप का बुक है एक जो है। अब ये बड़ा अजीब सा नाम है इसका भी, एक चिथड़ा सुख। कपड़े का जो टुकड़ा होता है उसको चिथड़ा बोलते हैं बेसिकली, बट what he is trying to say is a little bit of happiness. So Nirmal Verma work is also important in Hindi literature. So I have included this particular thing. और एक ये दूसरा वाला जो है वे दिन भी जो है again Nirmal Verma, and let me just show you the image. एक छोटा सा कहीं से फोटो लगा दिया इन लोगों ने। Not very impressive poster, but that's the way it is. हाँ जी, ये थोड़ा अंग्रेजी में कुछ उटपटांग लिखा गया है यहाँ पे। लाल टीन का छाता या छत होना चाहिए बेसिकली, ये छाता क्यों लिख दिया है यहाँ पर, लाल टीन की छत, ये पोस्टर है इसका। तो हिंदी का नाम जब आप पढ़ें वहां पर तो मेक श्योर कि वो ओरिजिनल हिंदी में भी जाके देख लें। पेपर क्वेश्चन पेपर जो है दो लैंग्वेज में छपता है, एक अंग्रेजी में छपता है और एक हिंदी में छपता है। तो अगर आपको ऐसा कुछ लाल टीन का छतवत टाइप कुछ नाम दिखाई दे तो उसको हिंदी वाले सेक्शन में जाके पढ़ लें कि एक्चुअली ये इसका प्रोनाउंसिएशन क्या है। तो इट विल बी इजी फॉर यू टू रिमेंबर। अगेन already shown you the Nirmal Verma. We'll move to another person. हाँ जी, मैला आंचल जो है एक टीवी सीरियल भी बन चुका है इसके ऊपर। मैंने देखा था किसी जमाने के अंदर, कुछ 90, 91, 92, 93 उस 89 के आसपास ये शायद बना होगा। एंड वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, इट वाज प्रोड्यूस्ड एट द दूरदर्शन एंड बेस्ड ऑन द नॉवल बाय फणेश्वर नाथ रेणु। रेणु की कहानी नॉवल है ये, फणेश्वर नाथ रेणु का, उसके ऊपर बेस्ड है। इमेज शायद हो मैला आंचल जो है, पूछा जा सकता है मैला आंचल, ये ध्यान रखिएगा। मैला आंचल जो है पूछा, फणेश्वर नाथ रेणु की स्टोरी के ऊपर जो है, जो एक फिल्म है बासु भट्टाचार्य ने जो डायरेक्ट की थी, जिसमें राज कपूर और वहीदा रहमान थे, और नाम मैं भूल रहा हूं थोड़ा सा। और ये मैला आंचल प्लस पंचलैट, बहुत ज्यादा काम ट्रांसलेट नहीं हुआ है सिनेमा के अंदर, बट फिर भी पता होना चाहिए थोड़ा। टीवी सीरियल था ये मैला आंचल, और ये एक पॉपुलर नॉवल है अपने जमाने का। वोल्गा से गंगा भी एक इंपॉर्टेंट नाम है लिटरेचर के अंदर, और पता होना चाहिए राहुल शंकरतायन। पूछा जा सकता है, अगर 10 लोगों से पूछा जाए क्या ये क्वेश्चन होना चाहिए, तो 10 लोग हिंदी लिटरेचर के बोलेंगे यस। वोल्गा से गंगा नाम भी याद रखना आसान है, और राहुल शंकरतायन थोड़ा बोलने में दिक्कत होती है पहली बार, बट कोई बात नहीं, वहां ऑडियो टेस्ट नहीं हो रहा है, आपसे केवल टिक करना है आपको। उर्वशी, अगेन सम ऑफ द वर्क, एज आई सेड दैट कुछ एक नॉवल है जिसके ऊपर प्लेज भी बन चुके हैं, कुछ एक नॉवल है जिसके ऊपर वो भी हुआ है। ये थोड़ा अलग टाइप का चक्कर है। रामधारी सिंह दिनकर की एक कलेक्शन है जो मैंने पहले भी बताया आप लोगों को, जिसके ऊपर जो है कलेक्शन ऑफ पोएट्री है वो, और कर्ण के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से लिखा गया है। तो उसके ऊपर भी अगर कोई मोनोलॉग तैयार करना चाहे तो कर सकता है। मीर, इसमें मैंने वो दिखाया आपको इमेज, जो है कोई नहीं दिखाया। ओके, इमेज इज देयर, फाइन। हाँ जी, रामनाथ सुमन, मीर, नॉट ए वेरी सेलिब्रिटी ऑथर, बट पता होना चाहिए। सेलिब्रिटी मतलब जैसे फणेश्वर नाथ रेणु है उस टाइप से। तो चरित्रहीन, ये थोड़ा हिंदी में चिपका हुआ है तो ठीक से कई बार पढ़ने में नहीं आता। शरद चंद्र का नॉवल है ये, और पोस्टर कैसा है मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ। देवदास हर एक को पता है, बताने की जरूरत नहीं है। शरद चंद्र का नॉवल है ये। कृष्ण कली। शिवानी जो है हिंदी के जो विमेन ऑथर रहे हैं इंपॉर्टेंट लोग, उनमें से एक इंपॉर्टेंट ऑथर रही हैं शिवानी। हर डॉटर मृणाल पांडे was editor of धर्मयुग for quite some time in times of India. She is also a author. कुछ एक दो शायद यहाँ पे रखा होगा, बट शिवानी का जो है कृष्ण कली एक वेल नोन काम है। हाँ जी, रति विलाप जो है अगेन बाय शिवानी। This is one of the image I could find. हाँ जी, शेष यात्रा उषा प्रेमवदा। पति परम गुरु, नॉट ए वेरी वेल नोन वर्क, बट पता होना चाहिए थोड़ा सा। विमल मित्रा का नॉवल है ये। और साहिब बीबी और गुलाम, इसके ऊपर फिल्म भी बन चुकी है और सब लोगों को पता है कि क्या बोलते हैं, गुरुदत्त एक्टेड इन दैट फिल्म एंड मीना कुमारी वाज आल्सो अ पार्ट ऑफ इट। तो साहिब बीबी और गुलाम जो है विमल मित्रा का ही काम है और पूछा जा सकता है क्योंकि ये फिल्म कंट्रोवर्शियल फिल्म था अपने जमाने का और इम्पोर्टेंट फिल्म भी रहा है। तो विमल मित्रा के नॉवल पर बेस्ड था ये। और दिस इज हाउ इज द पोस्टर ऑफ द फिल्म ओनली, नॉट द थिंग। हाँ जी, नदी के द्वीप अज्ञा जी का। अगर मैं एक नॉवल, कोई मैं क्या मतलब बहुत लोग भी अगर एक नॉवल चूज करेंगे तो नदी के द्वीप जो है चूज किया जाएगा। इज द मोस्ट सेलिब्रेटेड नॉवल इन द हिंदी लिटरेचर बाय अज्ञा। दिस इज हाउ द पोस्टर लुक लाइक। पूछा जा सकता है क्वेश्चन, आई हैव दिस फीलिंग, पता नहीं क्यों, बट पूछा जा सकता है। अभी तक जितने भी हमने नाम चूज किए हैं, अगर उसमें से जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट नाम फॉर वट एवर रीजन इज देयर इज कॉल्ड नदी के द्वीप। कभी अगर आपको टाइम मिले तो इसका सिनॉप्सिस पढ़िएगा एंड इफ यू गेट इंस्पायर्ड यू शुड रीड द नॉवल आल्सो। बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग लव स्टोरी है ये। शेखर एक जीवनी भी एक पॉपुलर नाम है। नदी के द्वीप के बाद अगर कोई दूसरा नाम क्वेश्चन पेपर के लिए जो इम्पोर्टेंट है, जो जाना जाता है बहुत, जो है वो नदी के द्वीप के बाद जो है आप शेखर एक जीवनी भी रख सकते हैं। ये भी अज्ञा जी का ही काम है। I'll just show you the image. शेखर एक जीवनी ज्यादा पॉपुलर काम है अज्ञा का रादर देन नदी के द्वीप, बट नदी के द्वीप का अपना एक अलग फ्लेवर है, इसलिए भी वो इम्पोर्टेंट है। लव स्टोरी है तो लव स्टोरी इज समटाइम also has a popularity in a different sense of the term. अमृतलाल नागर करवट। थोड़ा सा एक छोटा सा सिनॉप्सिस भी लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे। अंग्रेजों के राज की पृष्ठभूमि में लखनऊ से कलकत्ता, दिल्ली और लाहौर तक के विस्तृत फलक पर भारतीय समाज की ऐतिहासिक करवटों का मनोरंजक चित्रण। सिनॉप्सिस कई बार लोग लिख देते हैं, थोड़ा सा आइडिया लग जाता है लोगों को, अदरवाइज नॉवल के पीछे तो लिखा ही होता है। हाँ जी, मानस का हंस भी एग्जामिनेशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है। क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है वो भी आप लोगों को समझना जरूरी है, ऐसे ही कुछ भी उठा के इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं हो जाता है। तो अमृतलाल नागर का नॉवल जो है ये इंपॉर्टेंट है और पूछा जा सकता है आपसे। मानस का हंस, अगर इमेज है तो मैं आपको दिखा देता हूं। हाँ जी, और तुलसीदास के ऊपर बेस्ड है, ये भी पूछा जा सकता है। हो सकता है लोग इसको क्वेश्चन को दूसरे बता, मैंने पहले भी बताया आपको कि सब्जेक्ट क्या है नॉवल का, वो भी पूछा जा सकता है। सब्जेक्ट जो है मानस का हंस जो है किस चीज के ऊपर बेस्ड है, किसके बारे में है, तो तुलसीदास के बारे में है। ये क्वेश्चन हमने कहीं आगे बनाया भी हुआ है, पहले बनाया था, मुझे याद नहीं है, कहीं ना कहीं ये पूछा था हमने। मानस का हंस जो है पूछा जा सकता है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट काम है ये। हाँ जी, एक थी अनीता, अमृता प्रीतम का काम है ये। नॉवल कवर मुझे नहीं मिला है, बट हाँ जी, पॉल की तीर्थ यात्रा, ये बड़ा अजीब सा नाम है प्रोनाउंस करने में, पेन्युली अर्चना। और यहाँ पर राष्ट्र कवि मैथिली शरण गुप्त पुरस्कार 2012 से सम्मानित लेखिका। तो किसी ने सजेस्ट किया कि ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट काम है, तो मैंने डाल दिया, क्योंकि उस साल इस नॉवल का बड़ा डिस्कशन था 2012 के अंदर, तब ये लिखा गया था। वैशाली की नगर वधू, सबों को पता है, आचार्य चतुर्सेन का नॉवल है। इसके ऊपर फिल्म भी बन चुकी है जहां तक मुझे याद है। वैशाली की नगर वधू, आचार्य चतुर्सेन। हाँ जी, खंजन नयन भी एक इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, दो कारणों से। जैसे हमने पहले अभी पूछा कि वो सब्जेक्ट क्या है उसका और किसने लिखा है, तो लिखा किसने, एक तो राइटर का नाम तो इंपॉर्टेंट होता ही है हमेशा, कभी कभी सब्जेक्ट भी इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है। तो अमृतलाल नागर का ये नॉवल है। आइडिया लग गया होगा आपको किस आदमी के ऊपर बेस्ड होगा ये। आंखों से जिसका लेना देना हो सकता है, आइडिया लग जाता है कई बार। तो कई बार तुक्केबाजी भी काम आ जाती है, बट हमेशा नहीं आती है। हाँ जी, 55 खंबे लाल दीवार, लेट मी शो यू द इमेज। उषा प्रेमवत के जो और पहले हमने एक दो नॉवल डिस्कस किए हैं, ये भी एक पॉपुलर नॉवलों में से माना जाता है। हाँ जी, रुकोगी नहीं राधिका, अगेन शिवानी, सॉरी उषा प्रेमवत, इट्स अ मिस्टेक, लेट मी जस्ट करेक्ट इट हियर। Here the answer is correct. It's wrong, Shivani. That's why I'm saying there's some mistake. Let me just correct it. Okay. कितने पाकिस्तान भी एक कमलेश्वर का पॉपुलर नॉवल है। पूछा जा सकता है, जो इंपॉर्टेंट नॉवल है कमलेश्वर के, उसमें एक ये भी माना जाता है। हाँ जी, मित्रों मर्जानी, जिस साल कृष्णा सोबती गुजरी थी 2-3 साल पहले, मुझे था कि शायद ये क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा। मित्रों मर्जानी के ऊपर एक प्ले भी लोगों ने लिखा है, जो नेशनल शॉर्ट ड्रामा रिपर्टरी कंपनी ने उसका प्रोडक्शन किया है। सो दिस इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट। कृष्णा सोबती के जो इम्पोर्टेंट काम है उसमें से एक मित्रों मर्जानी भी है। हाँ जी, ये बड़ा अजीब सा नाम है प्रोनाउंस करने के अंदर, बट अगर ना भी कर पाए आप लोग तो थोड़ा सा याद आ जाए, काफी होता है। और गिल्ली गड्डू, चित्रा मुद्गल का जो है काम है ये। अजीब सा कुछ कवर स्टोरी बना हुआ है इसका, कवर स्टोरी मतलब कवर बनाया हुआ है। मुर्दा घर, हाँ जी, जगदम्बा प्रसाद दीक्षित, ये कुछ इंग्लिश वाला वो मिला है, हिंदी का भी होना चाहिए, यहाँ पे नहीं है कहीं। हाँ जी, धरती दान नापना, एज आई सेड दैट जगदीश चंद्र बासु, धरती धन नापना, समीक्षा एंड व्याख्या। इसका मतलब क्या है, कितना इंपॉर्टेंट काम रहा होगा कि उसके ऊपर जो है हरीश ने एक बुक लिख डाला। गुनाहों का देवता, पहले भी शायद हमने डिस्कस किया था, ये दोबारा से आ गया है शायद यहाँ पर, नॉट श्योर बट डजंट मैटर। रणवीर भारती का नॉवल है ये, पहले भी हमने शायद मेंशन किया है। हाँ, गलती से दोबारा आ गया है ये। राम कथा, नरेंद्र कोहली ने काफी काम किया है रामायण के कैरेक्टर्स को लेके, इसमें से एक ये भी है। शालमली नहीं होना चाहिए, शामली होना चाहिए मेरे ख्याल से। शालमली ही है। नासिरा शर्मा का नॉवल है ये। द्रौपदी अगेन बाय द सेम गाय, सॉरी प्रतिभा रे का नॉवल होना चाहिए। प्रतिभा रे, इंटरेस्टिंग पोस्टर। गोदान, जो हमने पहले भी डिस्कस किया है कि कोई भी काम जो प्रेमचंद का काम है वो पूछा जा सकता है, क्योंकि प्रेमचंद इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट सेलिब्रेटेड ऑथर ऑफ हिंदी लिटरेचर। और चांसेस इस बात के भी हैं कि सिनॉप्सिस देके आपसे पूछा जाए कि इसके नॉवल का नाम क्या है। कभी कभी वो भी एक थोड़ा सा एक आइडिया होता है कि भी लोगों ने नाम ही नाम पढ़े हैं या अंदर कुछ कहानी वानी का भी थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया है कि नहीं है। तो जस्ट टू फिगर इट आउट वेदर यू हैव read the synopsis or short synopsis or whatever, तो कई बार ये भी पूछा जाता है। भगवती चरण वर्मा का चित्रलेखा जो है एक पॉपुलर काम है, जो लोगों को सबसे ज्यादा पता है ये। तमस, तमस के ऊपर एक सीरियल भी बन चुका है और गोविंद निलानी ने वो सीरियल डायरेक्ट किया था। एक इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है एग्जामिनेशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, भीष्म सानी के नॉवल पर बेस्ड है ये। पार्टीशन को लेके जितना काम हुआ है उसमें से एक ये काम भी पूछा जा सकता है। पूछा जा सकता है इसका मतलब नहीं पूछा जाएगा ही। हाँ जी, ये कसपा नहीं है, गलती से आ गया है। कसप जो है एक मनोहर श्याम जोशी का इंटरेस्टिंग काम है और लव स्टोरी है ये भी अपने आप में। पूछा जा सकता है कसप इज अबाउट लव स्टोरी, अबाउट पार्टीशन, अबाउट व्हाट। तो थोड़ा सा अगर सिनॉप्सिस अगर पढ़ेंगे तो आपको जल्दी समझ आएगा। मनोहर श्याम जोशी के जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट काम माने जाते हैं उसमें से कसब भी है। मनोहर श्याम जोशी के बारे में कोई भी क्वेश्चन बन सकता है बिकॉज इज नो मोर। ही रोट डेली सोप, वेल नॉन डेली सोप। उसके बाद और भी काम है इनके, कुरुकुरु सुहाग, अभी कुछ ये आ गया नीचे आ गया। हुज द राइटर ऑफ कुरुकुरु सुहाग, द सेम गाय मनोहर श्याम जोशी। इसका अगर इमेज है तो मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ, ऐसे कुछ है इमेज जो है। फिर आपका बंटी, आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू, मनु भंडारी। मोस्ट सेलिब्रेटेड नॉवल ऑफ मनु भंडारी इज आपका बंटी, स्टोरी ऑफ ए लिटिल बॉय। हाँ जी, दौड़, दौड़ जो है ममता कालिया का काम का इमेज है यहाँ पर। इमेज बहुत अच्छी नहीं है बट फिर भी वट एवर इट इज देयर। कुछ विमेन ऑथर्स के ऊपर पूछा जा सकता है काम, इसलिए कुछ एक नाम जो है मैंने इंक्लूड किए हैं। जरूरी नहीं है कि उसमें मेल ओरिएंटेड ही लोग होंगे, जैसे शिवानी है, ममता कालिया है, ये सब लोग जो है हिंदी लिटरेचर में अमंग द विमेन राइटर्स इट इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। झूठा सच हमने पहले भी लिया था, ये गलती से दोबारा आ गया है यहाँ पर। हाँ जी, मुर्दों का टीला, मुर्दों का टीला, करेक्ट नेम इज करेक्ट। रांगे राघव का और जो पॉपुलर काम है वो अभी हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे। कुछ एक नाम जो है यहाँ पर मैंने एक दो ही चीजें इंक्लूड की हैं उन लोगों की, ज्यादा नहीं किया है, बट अगर आपको समय मिल पाए और अगर आप फ्यूचर में और देख पाए तो भी वो भी आप इंक्लूड करें। दीज आर जस्ट अ सिंपल एग्जांपल, नॉट नेसेसरीली इट इज द एक्सक्लूसिव लिस्ट, तो वो आप जो है इंक्लूड कर सकते हैं। आधा गांव पहले हमने शायद डिस्कस कर लिया है, राही मासूम रजा का दोबारा क्यों आ गया, सम मिस्टेक। ओके, नौकर की कमीज पूछा जा सकता है क्वेश्चन। क्यों पूछा जा सकता है? क्योंकि इसके ऊपर मणिकौल ने फिल्म बनाई है। ये बात शायद मैंने पहले डिस्कस की थी आपसे, एंड इट वाज फंडेड बाय इंटरनेशनल फंड्स। इट वाज प्रेजेंटेड इन द रॉटरडैम इन मार्केट सेक्शन फॉर पिचिंग फॉर रेजिंग द फंड्स। सो नौकर की कमीज विनोद कुमार शुक्ल के नावल के ऊपर बेस्ड है ये, और मणिकौल ने इसके ऊपर फिल्म बनाया है। आवारा मसीहा भी एक पॉपुलर काम है विष्णु प्रभाकर का। पूछा जा सकता है ये क्वेश्चन एग्जामिनेशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, क्योंकि लिटरेचर में ये जो है शरचंद्र की बायोग्राफी के ऊपर काम है ये। तो आवारा मसीहा एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है विष्णु प्रभाकर का। कहीं ना कहीं ये काम जो है इधर आपको इधर उधर दिख जाएगा। अगर आप टॉप 100 बुक्स ढूंढेंगे कहीं गूगल पे इन हिंदी लिटरेचर मान लीजिए फॉर एग्जांपल, तो उसमें ये जो है आवारा मसीहा आपको जरूर मिलेगा। दिस इज माय फीलिंग। हाँ जी, विराटा की पद्मिनी 73, वृंदावन लाल वर्मा का भी कोई भी क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है, यहाँ पर एक ही निकाला है, बट वृंदावन लाल वर्मा के और भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट काम है, वो आप थोड़ा सा सिनॉप्सिस भी पढ़ेंगे तो याद रहेंगे, वरना नहीं याद रहेंगे। आप आईएमडीबी नहीं क्या बोलते हैं, विकिपीडिया में जाके या कोई और सिनॉप्सिस वगैरह छोटा छोटा जो है इंपॉर्टेंट वर्क्स ऑफ वृंदावन लाल वर्मा या ऐसे करके आप ढूंढेंगे तो आपको आसानी से मिल जाएगा। राग दरबारी जो है एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट काम है श्रीलाल शुक्ल का, और बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग सटायर भी है। इसके ऊपर प्ले भी लोगों ने बनाया है, इसके ऊपर एक टीवी सीरियल भी बन चुका है किसी जमाने के अंदर। तो पूछा जा सकता है श्रीलाल शुक्ल का राग दरबारी। इमेज है तो दिखा देता हूं। हाँ जी, बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा नहीं है, ये मर्ज हो रहा है यहाँ ग्रे कलर जो है, बट एनीवे। मुझे चांद चाहिए, ये मैंने आपको पहले भी बताया था लास्ट टाइम जब हम लोग कुछ डिस्कस कर रहे थे। क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है सुरेंद्र वर्मा का नॉवल, जिसके ऊपर एक टीवी सीरियल बन चुका है। सुरेंद्र वर्मा का एक और नॉवल है दो मुर्दों के लिए गुलदस्ता। बड़ा अजीबोगरीब सा नाम है, दो मुर्दों के लिए गुलदस्ता, बट पता होना चाहिए आप लोगों को, वो भी एक इंपॉर्टेंट काम है और अजीब सा नाम भी है, तो इसलिए अनाम दास का पोता फिर दोबारा से आ गया। हाँ जी, कगार की आग जो है अनदर क्वेश्चन ऑन द लिटरेरी फ्रंट। तो हिमांशु जोशी जो है काम है ये, और that's how we finish for today, more or less whatever we were supposed to cover. बहुत सारे नाम हिंदी के जो है, जब आप हिंदी की इमेज देखेंगे तो आपको जरा आसान रहेगा इसको याद रखना, या उसके बारे में थोड़ा थोड़ा सिनॉप्सिस हम लोग नेक्स्ट राउंड में जब इसको अपडेट करेंगे वेबसाइट को, तो इसमें और इमेजेस भी डालेंगे जो अभी नहीं है फिलहाल। हर ऑथर का इमेज भी होना चाहिए इसके अंदर, जिससे इमेज याद रखना थोड़ा आसान हो जाता है। और थोड़ा सिनॉप्सिस जो है हम लोग काट काट के छोटे छोटे सिनॉप्सिस जो है नेक्स्ट राउंड अपडेट में इसको करेंगे। वो नेक्स्ट राउंड अपडेट बहुत टाइम से हम लोग सोच रहे हैं, हो नहीं पा रहा है। सो दिस इज इन ब्रीफ। आप अपने अपने तरीके से जो है वेस्ट बंगाल के जो है 108 यहाँ पर रखे हुए हैं, तो अपर्णा सेन पे 10 क्वेश्चन है, घटक पे 10 हैं, गौतम घोष, कौशिक गांगुली, मिसलिनियस, मृणाल सेन, ऋतुपर्ण घोष, सत्यजीत रे, तपन सिन्हा, ये सब इंपॉर्टेंट लोग हैं वेस्ट बंगाल के अंदर। ठीक है जी, इसमें और भी श्रीजीत वगैरह भी हैं जो इसमें नहीं, मिसलिनियस में हो सकता है श्रीजीत का कुछ एक दो काम हो। तो ये नहीं है कि मैंने यहाँ लिख दिया तो बस यही है, और भी लोग हो सकते हैं। आई डोंट क्लेम दैट दिस इज द ओनली वर्ड, बट अभी हम लोगों को थोड़ा अपडेट करना है, तो इसमें बहुत सारा काम नहीं है। नेक्स्ट टाइम जो है आप लोग बीच बीच में जो पुराने वीडियोस हैं एमसीक्यू वाले उनको भी देखते रहिए, और ये जो हम लोग कर रहे हैं वो तो है ही है। यू डोंट हैव टू डिपेंड अपॉन मी ओनली, एज एंड व्हेन यू फाइंड टाइम यू गो थ्रू इट एंड कीप अपडेटिंग योरसेल्फ। ये जो करंट अफेयर लिखा हुआ है, ये करंट अफेयर में वो लोग हैं जो डांस कल्चर सिनेमा के अंदर या तो कंट्रोवर्सी में रहे, या फिर वो दे एक्सपायर्ड, दे पास्ड अवे, और व्हाटएवर इज द रीजन। तो ये उस टाइप का करंट अफेयर है, ना कि पॉलिटिकल करंट अफेयर है। अभी जैसे क्या है, मान लो ये केजरीवाल वाला इशू चल रहा है कि आप करेंसी पे किसका फोटो देखना चाहेंगे, लक्ष्मी का, वो सब जो है। तो नॉट दोज काइंड ऑफ पॉलिटिकल करंट अफेयर, दिस इज मोर ऑफ कल्चर एंड आर्ट काइंड ऑफ करंट अफेयर। तो दिस इज डन फॉर टुडे। एक्टिंग का क्लास जो है अभी हम लोग चालू करेंगे। जो लोग एक्टिंग के स्टूडेंट हैं यहाँ पर, वी हैव वर्कड आउट द टाइमिंग फ्रॉम 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. वी विल कीप फर्स्ट इन द मंथ ऑफ नवंबर, फिर दिसंबर में थोड़ा गैप देके 15 दिन का वी विल वेट। वी होप दैट इन द फर्स्ट वीक द एफटीआई शुड अनाउंस द डेट, but not necessarily. They depend upon their mood and everything, but that's how the government organization works. They have no timeline to follow, but unfortunately that's the way they are. So this is done for today. If somebody has a
हेलो, गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
बोलिए।
सर एक्टिंग का क्लास कब से शुरू हो रहा है, एक बार फिर से बोल देंगे? नवंबर 1 से?
नवंबर फर्स्ट वीक में जो है हम लोगों का शेड्यूल जो होता है, आई जस्ट टेल यू द शेड्यूल। हम लोगों का जो है मंडे ट्यूसडे जो होता है बेसिकली वो सिनेमेटोग्राफी का रहता है, वेडनेसडे थर्सडे जो होता है वो करेक्शन का रहता है, और फ्राइडे सैटरडे संडे जो है वो एक्टिंग का रहेगा। तो एक्टिंग में 3 क्लासें होंगी। We were waiting for some more people to join, so whosoever has woken up is welcome. People are still sleeping, so let them sleep. Now we will start because we don't have much time. So we will. That's why instead of 2 classes, we will have 3 days of classes, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is the technical department tomorrow.
हेलो
हाँ जी,
सर 6 PM या 6 AM?
6 AM में बेटा नहीं होगा। 6 AM में कोई हिंदुस्तान में कोई जागता नहीं है। 6 PM
ओके सर ठीक है सर, थैंक यू सर।
PM चाहिए तो कर लेते हैं 6 AM। मैं कर सकता हूँ 6 AM क्लास, और आदमी नहीं कर।
ओके
Hello
सर।
sir, 6 a.m.
6 AM to 8 PM 2-hour class. Shravasti Banerjee, one of the talented graduate from National School of Drama, who has equal profound understanding of cinema as well as theater, and previous videos which you must have been watching, most of you, is the same lady. So we will pick up the 10 more films to analyze the actor's performance, and 10 days we have a plan to cover up all these 6 important acting techniques, क्योंकि acting technique पे MSQ पक्का आएगा, ध्यान रखना। और कुछ जो है नाट्य शास्त्र का भी थोड़ा बहुत पार्ट लेंगे हम लोग। नवरसास को थोड़ा ठीक से करेंगे। पहले जो वीडियो है उसमें नवरसास को ढंग से उतना नहीं किया गया है, तो वी विल ट्राई टू डू दैट आल्सो। तो ये रहेगा। हाँ जी, किसी और को कुछ क्विकली पूछना है?
सर
बोलिए।
मेरे को पूछना था सर, is there any book on like, sir, दो questions थे basically. Is there any book you could recommend which is like an essay kind of book on Hindi literature, like either history of Hindi literature or somebody who just
ऐसा कुछ तो मैं ढूंढता हूँ, मैं ढूंढने की कोशिश करता हूँ कोई ऐसा हिंदी लिटरेचर पे हो, बट ऐसा होगा नहीं। उसका तरीका केवल यही है कि मैं लिख लेता हूँ थोड़ा सा। 1 मिनट का टाइम दीजिए। मुझे ऑफ हैंड तो याद नहीं आ रहा है, बट जो लोग हिंदी लिटरेचर के लोग हैं, वो थोड़ा पता होना चाहिए कि इसमें किसमें ऐसा कोई किताब जो है, मैं ढूंढता हूँ थोड़ा सा।
एंड सर एक ये पूछना था कि इज देयर एनी डॉक्यूमेंट्री और डॉक्यू सीरीज ऑन इंडियन सिनेमा और इंडियन पैरेलल सिनेमा, एनीथिंग लाइक
ऐसा
दैट?
नहीं है कोई डॉक्यूमेंट्री तो मुझे पता नहीं है, बट 2 किताबें हैं जो बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट हैं। एक फ्रेंच ऑथर ने लिखी है इंग्लिश के अंदर, उसका नाम मैं हमेशा भूल जाता हूँ, पिछली बार भी मैं भूल गया था। आई पर्सनली नो हिम आल्सो, मेरी फेसबुक की लिस्ट में होगा भी कहीं ना कहीं। उसने एक किताब लिखा है जो इम्पोर्टेंट है इंडियन सिनेमा की हिस्ट्री के ऊपर जो है, और ज्यादा मोटा किताब भी नहीं है, पढ़ सकते हो आप लोग, कुछ 300-400 पेज का किताब होगा। और एक किताब जो है जो आउट ऑफ प्रिंट है, जो सिनेमाया मैगजीन की एडिटर होती थी मतलब अभी है, मैगजीन तो नहीं है बट वो एडिटर है वो। तो शी हैज आल्सो रिटन ए बुक ऑन। मैंने कहीं से कोशिश की थी उसका कोई किताब मिल जाए फोटोकॉपी, या मैं वो किताब ले लूं और उसको स्कैन कर कुरा के एक PDF बना के जो है थोड़ा सा डाल दिया जाए नेट के ऊपर, क्योंकि बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग किताब है। किसी जमाने में मैं जब थोड़ा पढ़ता ज्यादा था तो उस जमाने में मैंने वो पढ़ी थी किताब। इट्स आउट ऑफ प्रिंट अनफॉर्चुनेटली। तो एक तो वो किताब है, और एक ये वाली है फ्रेंच ऑथर वाली जो हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडियन सिनेमा को लेके है। किताबें तो और भी हैं 3-4 जो हैं, बट वो जो मुझे अच्छी लगती हैं वो 2 किताबें हैं। बट फिर भी मैंने आपको काफी नाम जो है उसमें कवर किए हुए हैं, और उनको भी जैसे यहाँ पे भी अगर आप कॉन्टेक्स्ट में भी जाके देखेंगे, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने यहाँ पर जो है आई जस्ट क्विकली शो यू द वेस्ट बंगाल। अब इसमें अपर्णा सेन, घटक, गौतम घोष, कौशिक गांगुली जो कंटेम्प्रेरी आदमी है। श्रीजीत नहीं रखा है मैंने इसमें, श्रीजीत भी होना चाहिए, मिसलिनियस में कहीं ना कहीं होगा। फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं दिखाता हूँ तुम्हें। नहीं, चुन्नी गांगुली आ गई, चलो कोई बात नहीं। तो ये और लोग भी हमने रखे हुए हैं। तो ये थोड़ा सा जो है काफी कुछ जो है फिर भी कवर किया हुआ है। आई डोंट क्लेम दैट इट इज द एक्सक्लूसिव वन, बट आई होप वन डे इट विल बिकम। बट एज ऑफ नाउ इतना भी अगर आप लोग कर लेते हैं तो काफी कुछ जो है खेल सेट हो जाएगा। इसमें मैंने रे के ऊपर 47 क्वेश्चन है, देखो, ठीक है। तो ये सब उसके जो फिल्में कौन कौन सी, उसमें जो डिफिकल्ट पार्ट वो वही है कि भाई कौन सी फिल्म कौन से स्टोरी के ऊपर बेस्ड है, ठीक है। अब वो स्टोरी के अलावा कुछ वो भी पूछा जाता है, एक्टर कौन है, कौन सी फिल्म में किसने काम किया है। अब जैसे कुछ टाइम पहले उत्पल दत्त गुजर गए, तो उस साल मैंने ये वो वीडियो के अंदर है भी, मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि भाई उत्पल दत्त के ऊपर कुछ ना कुछ क्वेश्चन, सॉरी मृणाल सेन पास्ट अवे, सो आई सेड मृणाल सेन के ऊपर कोई ना कोई क्वेश्चन आ सकता है। और वो जो है जो उसका जो हिंदी वाला फिल्म है पहला, क्या बोलते हैं, भुवन शोम के ऊपर क्वेश्चन आ गया। ठीक है, तो कुछ हंच होता है, कुछ गट फीलिंग होती है कभी कभी, तो हो जाता है। जैसे मुझे इस साल गट फीलिंग है कि गोदाद के ऊपर क्वेश्चन आएगा, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है, तो हो सकता है आ जाए। एक बहुत बड़ा इटालियन कंपोजर गुजरा है पिछले लास्ट ईयर या पता नहीं इस साल, एनरिको मोरिकानो। अब तुम्हारे लिए बड़ा अजीब सा नाम है एनरिको फेनरिको, बट जो आदमी सिनेमा के लोग हैं उनको पता है एनरिको मोरिकानो कौन है। तो उसने बड़ी फिल्में की हैं, सिनेमा पारादीजो कंपोज किया है म्यूजिक, गुड बैड एंड अगली, सर्जी लियोन की जो फिल्में हैं वेस्टर्न, वो कंपोज किए हैं। तो ये थोड़ा सा डीप रूटेड क्वेश्चन हो गया एनरिको मोरिकानो। बट अगर आप सिनेमा से जुड़े हुए नहीं हैं तो फिर मुश्किल है। वहां पर ये नहीं है कि अपना बैग लेके गए और एडमिशन ले लिया। तो यू हैव टू प्रूव दैट यू आर अवेयर, वेल अवेयर अबाउट द सिनेमा। ये तुमसे ये नहीं पूछा जा सकता कि भाई एनरिको मोरिकानो ग्रेट कंपोजिशन उसके उसमें क्या है। अब ये टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन हो जाता है, जो म्यूजिक कंपोजिंग का कोई अगर कोर्स है उसमें पूछा जा सकता है कि भाई उसके कंपोजिशन में ऐसी क्या खास चीज है। वो बड़ा इस अगेन इवन फॉर देम इट इज डिफिकल्ट टू आंसर इट, बट ऐसा नहीं पूछा जाएगा। ये पूछा जा सकता है कि भाई कौन कौन सी फिल्में हैं जिसमें उसने कंपोज किया है। तो अगर आपको पता होगा तो आप बता देंगे खटाखट खटाखट खटाखट। अब आपने नाम ही नहीं सुना जिंदगी में एनरिको मोरिकानो, तो क्या खाक वहां पे आंसर दोगे। तो ये टेढ़े मेढ़े क्वेश्चन भी आ सकते हैं। वो टेढ़ा मेढ़ा तुम्हारे लिए इसलिए कि तुमने नाम ही नहीं सुना जिंदगी में कभी। अब जिस आदमी ने सिनेमा पारादीजो पता होगा, जिसको ये पता होगा गुड बैड एंड अगली, जिसको सर्जी लियोन की फिल्में देखी होंगी, तो कहीं ना कहीं उसको एनरिको मोरिकानो के बारे में ही पता होगा। इटालियन आदमी है वो, और वो सर्जी लियोन वाज आल्सो इटालियन ऑफ कोर्स, बट ही वर्कड इन हॉलीवुड। तो कुछ लोग जो है, सम पीपल कुड क्रॉस द बाउंड्री एंड कुड वर्क इन हॉलीवुड आल्सो। तो ऐसे लोग भी पूछे जा सकते हैं, बट आई डाउट कि हर आदमी उसके ऊपर इंटरेस्ट लेके बनाएगा, बट बनाया जा सकता है। किसी आदमी, मुझ जैसा आदमी कोई पेपर बनाने बैठ जाए जिसका एजेंडा ही है कि आलतू फालतू कचरा बाहर निकालो, जो सिनेमा में घुसा हुआ है उस आदमी को लो, तो उसमें ऐसे क्वेश्चन भी बनाए जा सकते हैं। सी व्हाट यू आर स्टडिंग विद मी इज फॉर डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चंस। इजी तो तुम कर ही लोगे, उसमें मेरी क्या जरूरत है। मेरी जरूरत नहीं है उसके अंदर, मेरी जरूरत है डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन में। अगर डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन टेढ़े मेढ़े आएंगे तो क्या, किस टाइप के आएंगे। So I have prepared the difficult questions. I have not prepared. Some questions are easy also, but very few. Not more than 10%. अब ये जैसे books ओशो liked. अब तुम्हारी खोपड़ी के अंदर कभी आ नहीं सकता ये क्वेश्चन कि ओशो को कौन सी किताब पसंद थी, वो उसके ऊपर कोई क्वेश्चन आ जाए। But most of these books which he talked about in one of the books he liked, I have selected that also 79. वहां से किताबें 79 बुक्स मैंने ढूंढी हुई है वो। अब ये जो, और इसमें एक सेक्शन है कुछ 500, ये इंटरनेशनल बुक्स 505, एक किताब है जो 500 इंपॉर्टेंट बुक्स ऑन लिटरेचर। वो मैंने खरीदा था किसी जमाने में सस्ता, कुछ 100-200 रुपए का। तो वहां से कुछ मैंने जो है लिस्ट बना लिया है यहाँ पर। तो किसी ना किसी थ्योरी में ये थोड़ा फिल्टर काम है। करोड़ों किताबें हैं, अब कैसे पता लगेगा इंपॉर्टेंट। तो डिफिकल्ट होता है। ऑटोबायोग्राफी ऑफ एक्टर्स जैसे मान लीजिए, उसके ऊपर कुछ मैंने बनाया। अब निकलता रहता कुछ नया नया। अब जो एफटीआई से कनेक्टेड लोग हैं उनके ऊपर ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। किसी एफटीआई के आदमी ने अपनी कोई ऑटोबायोग्राफी छापी है तो वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट। तो दिस इज द वे आई हैव प्रिपेयर्ड माय थिंग, बट दैट्स इट। सो आई सपोज विल रैप अप फॉर टुडे एंड दैट्स इट।
एक्सक्यूज मी सर, वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन कि इंडियन सिनेमा को पढ़ने के लिए इज इट ओके टू फॉलो द ऑथर्स लाइक बनी रूबिन एंड वो जो दूसरा कोई एक लिखा है हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडियन सिनेमा,
कोई भी पढ़ो वो तो इंफॉर्मेशन है। इंफॉर्मेशन तो मोर लेस सेम ही होगी। मोर लेस आई एम सेइंग, कुछ आदमी के कुछ ज्यादा पॉपुलर लोग होंगे, किसी ना किसी को और लिया होगा। तो जब आप देखेंगे तो आपको पता लग जाएगा। वो आपने भी तो सुने होंगे ना नाम कभी ना कभी, तो इधर उधर पहली बार भी सुन रहे होंगे, बट पहले भी हो सकता है कभी सुना हो। Follow anything, but purpose is that you should be able to crack the exam. अभी तो purpose एग्जाम का है ना। नॉलेजेबल तो तुम बहुत हो गए, एग्जाम तुमसे क्रैक नहीं होगा। और MCQ और MSQ is the only section in which स्कोर द मैक्सिमम मार्क्स, क्योंकि उसमें ऑब्जेक्टिव है, कंप्यूटराइज्ड आंसर है, चेकिंग है, उसमें मेरे मूड के ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं करता कि तुमने जो बकवास लिखी है वो मुझे नहीं अच्छी लग रहा है, तुमने कुछ और रूट पटांग लिखी है। तो ऑब्जेक्टिव आर मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, क्वालिफाई द एग्जाम रादर देन द सब्जेक्ट।
तो सर इफ आई एम सर्चिंग समथिंग, कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन में ज्यादा डीप में घुसने के बजाय जस्ट इफ आई
ज्यादा डीप में घुसने की जरूरत नहीं है, बेसिक लेवल का इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए, क्योंकि रिटर्न में बेसिक पूछा जाएगा। एमएसक्यू के अंदर थोड़ा सा इन्फॉर्मेशन डेस्क्रिप्टिव टाइप में से निकाल के पूछा जाएगा, खास तौर पे जैसे एक्टिंग के अंदर है। मान लीजिए कल मैं कुछ डिस्कस कर रहा था सिनेमेटोग्राफी के क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे लोग तो एमएसक्यू के अंदर थोड़ा सा डीप जाना पड़ेगा, बट होगा वो इंफॉर्मेटिव ही अपने अपने लेवल, फैक्चुअल इंफॉर्मेशन होगी इंफॉर्मेटिव बेस्ड, एनालिसिस नहीं होगा, बट वो क्लैरिटी चाहिए उसके अंदर। एमएसक्यू को क्वालिफाई करने के लिए थोड़ी सी क्लैरिटी चाहिए होती है आपको फंडामेंटल्स की। तो जैसे नवरसास के ऊपर बड़े टेढ़े मेढ़े क्वेश्चन बन सकते हैं, एमएसक्यू के अंदर एक्टिंग है। तो मैं ढूंढ रहा हूँ कुछ क्वेश्चन जो है वो आप लोग के साथ शेयर करूंगा बाद में। मेरे को एक जगह पकड़ में आई है, वहां पे बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन इधर उधर लगे हुए थे, तो मैंने वहां से ढूंढे हैं कुछ नेट पे, बड़ा मुश्किल से ढूंढ डांड के वो मैंने पता किया, तो थोड़ा मैं निकाल रहा हूँ इधर उधर से। आप लोग भी देखिए अपने अपने तरीके से नाट्य शास्त्र के ऊपर जो है एमसीक्यू एमएसक्यू क्या बन सकता है उसको ले, नवरसाज इसको ले।
सर नाट्य शास्त्र के ऊपर आप कोई बुक लास्ट टाइम सजेस्ट कर रहे थे?
लास्ट टाइम सजेस्ट कर रहा था, वो इतनी आसानी से मिलती नहीं है, बट वो मिल भी सकती है। डॉक्टर कपिलावत्सैन का किताब है एक, जो हिंदी क्या है, ये संगीत नाटक अकादमी ने पब्लिश किया था, वो शायद आपको मिल जाए, तो वहीं पे जाके मिलेगी। दिल्ली में कोई आपको जानता है तो ले लो, ऑनलाइन भी शायद मिल जाए तो मिल जाए, बट वो
दिल्ली में ही हूँ मैं।
दिल्ली के हो तो जाके लेके आ जाओ, वहां पे मिल जाएगी, मिल जानी चाहिए,
कहाँ?
जाएगी कि नहीं जाएगी पता नहीं। संगीत नाटक
कहाँ बताया?
संगीत नाटक अकादमी ने पब्लिकेशन है, तो उनका पब्लिकेशन जो है भागलपुर हाउस जो है वहां पर रविंद्र भवन है, उसमें तीनों अकादमी है, वहां से आपको मिल सकती है। वैसे पढ़ने को कोई भी किताब पढ़ लो, बट वो बेसिक लेवल पे जो है एमसीक्यू एमएसक्यू उसमें आएगा आपकी बार पक्का। आपकी बार क्या, पिछली बार भी आया था, कुछ दूसरे तरीके से आया था, आपकी बार और कुछ मैं कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन बनाने में लगा हुआ हूँ, तो जब बन जाएंगे तब मैं आपके साथ शेयर कर लूँ।
सर